this video, I want to go far away from humanity, into the void above, the final frontier, space. Instead of just speaking about space, I have compiled a list of 5 things about space. Some of you might already know some or all 5 of these. If so, feel free to share it with a student you know. I didn't learn any of these things at school. I wish I had. I wish these things were mentioned in science class. School would have been interesting. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's move away from home gradually and talk about our nearest celestial neighbor first, the moon. Did you know that the moon orbits the earth? You will most likely answer, yes, obviously. But what if I ask, did you know that the earth orbits the moon? The shocking answer is yes. This might sound wrong at first, but let me show you a rough animated depiction. A chance to show off my impeccable drawing skills here. So, here's what I learned at school. And here's what I should have learned. As the moon is affected by Earth's gravity, the Earth is also affected by the moon's gravity. When you see it like this, lines like tides of the ocean are affected by the moon finally makes sense, right? Also, the moon is moving away from the earth. It is not moving away directly like this, but gradually over each orbit. When the distance between the earth and the moon is calculated over a period of 1 year, the distance increases by 4 centimeters approximately. This is a very slow, long-term change, but this has other side effects. Millions of years ago, days used to be shorter, and millions of years from now, days will be longer. Finally, the first and last time a human stepped foot on the moon was 1969 and 1973 respectively. Hopefully, the latter date will change soon. Just as a side note, on the planet Venus, a day is longer than a year. Most of us are familiar with this diagram, but this is a very deceptive depiction. I first saw this diagram in a science book back when I was in school, and it covered 2 pages. It looks concise, but the fact that it hides is that space is empty. Well, space is mostly empty. Here is a table with distance of each planet from the Sun. Pause the screen if you need. I have adjusted the numbers so you don't have to. Let's imagine a science textbook of 250 pages. The surface of the Sun will be at the beginning of page 1, or better yet, at page 0 as you can see here. Mercury will be on page 4, Venus will be at the end of page 6, Earth will be on page 9, and Mars will be on page 13. Pages 19 to 27 will have a scattering of asteroids making up the asteroid belt. The gas giant Jupiter will be at the end of page 43. Saturn will be at the beginning of page 80. Uranus will be towards the end of page 159. And Neptune will be on page 249. I have calculated the size and scale of the planets, and none of them cover a full page. Also, if Pluto were a planet, it would have been on page 323. I hope people who design science textbooks see this and implement some version of it. Another side note, just like the moon is moving away from us, we are moving away from the sun at a rate of about 6 centimeters every year. Most of us have our home address memorized, unless you move around a lot. Knowing the location of home is important. So, what is our cosmic address? Historically, it has been a consistent human tendency to consider ourselves special, and by extension, our home special as well. The Aristotelian model or Ptolemaic model also known as the geocentric model of the universe, imagined our Earth at the center of the universe. This was the widely accepted model at the time. The Polish astronomer Nicolaus Copernicus developed the heliocentric model in the year 1543, where the Sun was positioned at the center of the universe, with the planets orbiting it in circular paths. Even though this model was not entirely correct, it displaced the geocentric model. In 1610, Italian astronomer Galileo Galilei used the telescope to observe the planets, proving the heliocentric model to be accurate. But the Roman Catholic Church felt a loss in the specialness of humans if our Earth was not at the center of the universe. The Roman Catholic Inquisition held a trial in 1633 and sentenced Galileo to house arrest, where he remained till his death in 1642. In the year 1992, Pope John Paul II formally apologized for the Galileo case and officially declared that Galileo was correct. While religion was catching up, modern astronomy had given us far more to work with. I mentioned that the heliocentric model developed by Copernicus in the year 1543 was incorrect, as now we know that the Sun is not positioned at the center of the universe. The Sun and our solar system orbits Sagittarius A, a supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Every sun in the Milky Way galaxy, about 200 million stars, orbits Sagittarius A. One orbit around the Milky Way galaxy is called a galactic year. Since the formation of our planet about 4.6 billion years ago, the Earth is roughly 20 galactic years old. Side note here, Galileo did not invent the telescope. He just designed and built his own. For this one, we need to discuss light and colors and time, just to explain that black holes are not black. It is almost impossible to comprehend light particles fleeting across space. Using a torch at night or using the headlights of a car makes it seem like light is an instant phenomena for humans to control at will. But if given the distance at astronomical scales, light has a speed of its own, the fastest speed we know of so far. Light reflected off the moon takes 1.3 seconds to reach Earth, and it takes about 8 minutes and 20 seconds to travel from the Sun to the Earth. Here is an interesting example. After the successful launch of the Hubble Space Telescope on 24th of April 1990, it has captured many images, all glimpses from the past. In 1995, the Hubble Space Telescope captured this section of the Eagle Nebula in the constellation Serpens. This section has been nicknamed the Pillars of Creation. What separates this photograph from our standard photography is that the pillars were destroyed about 6,000 years ago. However, as the light from the then existing pillars are still traveling towards us, we will continue to see the standing pillars for another 1,000 years approximately. Then we will see their destruction. Given this time delay, now add the fact that black holes absorb light instead of reflecting it. The first image of a black hole was captured in 2019 by the Event Horizon Telescope collaboration. But their existence was first predicted in 1916 by a German physicist, Albert Einstein. While our Sun will die to form a white dwarf, much bigger stars die to form black holes. Our technology detects the changes caused by the existence of black holes, and hence we know where to look for them. This makes them very tricky to observe, as a small one can theoretically fit in your pocket. When it comes to black holes in our Milky Way galaxy, there are likely millions. If one is approaching our way, will we know in time to do something? Even if we knew, what could we do? Well, anyway, in about 4 billion years, our galaxy is set to collide with our neighbor, the Andromeda Galaxy, which can be seen in the night sky. Don't worry about it, humanity will be long gone by then. Finally, let's discuss our achievements. I say our as if I contributed anything. Well, the achievements of my species. Human interstellar achievements. First artificial satellite was Sputnik 1, launched on 4th October 1957. 1 month later, on 3rd of November, the first animal was launched into space, the dog Laika on Sputnik 2. In April 1961, cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first human to orbit Earth aboard Vostok 1. In June 1963, cosmonaut Valentina Tereshkova became the first woman in space aboard Vostok 6. The first spacewalk was done by cosmonaut Alexei Leonov in March 1965 aboard Voskhod 2. Astronaut Neil Armstrong aboard Apollo 11 became the first human to walk on the moon on July 1969. The first space station, Salyut 1, was launched in April 1971. The first international docking in space took place between Apollo and Soyuz in July 1975 during the Apollo-Soyuz test project. On September 1977, humanity launched Voyager 1, which carries a golden record. We included 55 languages, pictures, locations, and music on that golden record, so aliens will know that we are cool. Voyager 1 is the first human-made object to venture into interstellar space in 2012, on the way discovering 2 new moons of Jupiter and 5 new moons of Saturn. 1 month ahead, on August 1977, we launched Voyager 2. I know, the numbering and launch dates are weird. Voyager 2 is the only spacecraft to study all 4 of our solar system's giant planets at close range, discovering 1 moon for Jupiter, 10 moons for Uranus, and 5 moons for Neptune. It is currently traveling away from us into space just like Voyager 1, as both of them are still transmitting signals and sending valuable scientific data for us to study. The first large optical space telescope, the Hubble Space Telescope, was launched on April 1990. It has captured highly valuable data which has helped us understand the great void beyond our reach. Hubble will stay in orbit till mid to late 2030s, and then it will re-enter Earth's atmosphere. After decades of work with Hubble, we needed an upgrade to broaden our understanding of the universe. The James Webb Space Telescope was launched on the 25th December 2021 and has been capturing some high-quality images. Even though the mission is helmed by NASA, it is an international effort. Thousands of scientists, engineers, and technicians from 14 different countries contributed to the success and continued operation of the James Webb Space Telescope. While some humans wage war on the only planet we are lucky enough to call home, maybe there is a lesson to be learned from international collaboration. When we truly look into the great beyond, we might understand that we are collectively alone. And we might realize in this empty universe, all we have is each other. Thank you for watching. I hope you found the video interesting. 3 years on YouTube and more than 200 subscribers. Another year flew by. As they say, days are long but years are short. I hope to upload more next year. Anyway, I appreciate the support. It is more than I hoped for.